The Midnight Dance by CartoonNerd12. Sombra? All the guys shouted out. As in King Sombra? Flash questioned. The lost king of Equestria. Fancy Pants gasped. But I thought you were dead, said a confused Spike.
You assumed incorrect,
the king hissed. Discord pointed out.
Besides, remember what Celestia said, Spike? He was placed under a curse. She never said that he died.
Wait, that's the curse? Cheese cried out. That's what's going to happen to our girls if we don't stop it in time? Discord bared his teeth.
That won't happen. I won't let it. Girls? You mean something has happened to my daughters?
Unfortunately, yes, Sombra old boy. Chrysalis has taken your daughters, and we are determined to bring them back.
But why? Why do you care? And for that matter, how did you escape your stone prison?
I'm so glad you asked that. You see, it was your daughter, Fluttershy, who had set me free. She gave me the kindness that your wife and you never gave me in the first place.
And now, you are good because of this?
Sombra found it hard to believe.
On my oath! For the safety of your daughter is all that matters to me now.
He was skeptical at first, until he started to softly chuckle.
Fluttershy was always able to see the good in others, even if that being was bad.
Yes, she does seem to have that effect. Discord sighed dreamily.
The king's face turned back to serious. This is distressing news. My daughters are at risk, and I intend to find them.
So do we, your majesty. Flash took a step forward and bowed to him.
Your daughters mean everything to us, sire. And who are you, young colt?
Flash Sentry, my lord. I was a new guard in Canterlot when I met your daughter, Princess Twilight. Flash took a bow and properly introduced himself.
I am Fancy Pants, my king.
I was under the service of the Canterlot Castle when I met your daughter, Princess Rarity. Cheese sandwich. And I met Princess Pinky not too long ago, and made my jug shop in Canterlot just to see her. I'm Soren. I was a lonely water boy for the Wonderbolts when I first met Princess Rainbow Dash. Now I'm one of them. Spike finished it up by bowing. And I am Spike the Dragon. I was actually taken into your family as an egg by the Queen, and Twilight raised me. While it is true I had a thing for Rarity at first, it is your daughter Princess Applejack who has caught my eye now, and who I want to be with. Sombra was amazed by these statements, and was quite impressed with these colts, who obviously held his daughters in their hearts. It showed him that they cared for them, and would stop at nothing to be with them.
You are brave to go after them, and I thank you for that. My daughters deserve colts who are willing to do so much for them. You have my utmost respect.
Whoa, Spike gulped.
Yeah, whoa.
Discord was gawking as well. Then he shook his head out of shock and said,
So, Sombra, would you like to come with us? I will go, but on my own.
Why? Cheese raised an eyebrow.
This curse is unpredictable. It takes all of my energy to keep it under control. You could get seriously hurt if I lost that. No, it'd be best if I went ahead and meet you there.
Whatever you think is best, Discord said, being secretly glad that he would be able to keep his role as leader.
Just tell me, how...
How what? Soren asked.
How did my daughters get captured by that changeling queen? When I cast that fainting spell, I was sure they would be safe.
Wait, you were the reason that they fainted when they did, Spike motioned.
I regret to say, yes. I couldn't risk them seeing me. To see their father being a monster.
Ugh, you and Chrysalis both. You push away your daughters instead of facing them with the truth. It is no wonder that you two are perfect for each other, Discord growled. Did you know your wife tried to get your girls into an arranged marriage?
She did? Well, knowing my sweet Celestia, she only did it as a last resort, since I could not be freed from the curse. If our daughters were at risk to have the same thing happen to them, then she had no choice but to. If our situations had been reversed, I would have done the same. But anyway, what matters is getting there and stopping this," he moved in his shadowy form, "from happening to them. Have courage, lads, for this is one battle we cannot afford to lose."
They nodded as his shadowy form had turned into a regular unicorn form, but his facial features remained the same.
"Be gone with you, and we shall rendezvous at the gateway of the Changeling Kingdom."
He trotted off to a section of the castle while the guides headed out the door. When the dungeon door creaked open, a couple of changelings gave the prison rations to the princesses. Upon seeing the bread and mortar, Rarity was appalled and complained, "Is this any way to treat royalty?" She pushed the tray away.
"Newsflash, we're their prisoners,"
Rainbow implied.
"Ah, but you don't have to be."
They turned their heads in annoyance to see the royal pain, Prince Blueblood, at the door.
"So, which of you is my lucky bride? Because if you are, you can get out of here and enjoy a feast matching our royal status. Any acceptances?"
There was nothing but a dead silence with a few death glares.
"No, Pony? Well, there's only one more day before I make the final decision, and I certainly have an idea of whom I want. So think about it before that time comes. Cheerio!"
He walked away with the changelings. Rainbow grunted.
"Cheerio, my!"
"Rainbow Dash! Language!" Rarity warned.
"Well, I'm sorry, but for him to... Duh!"
She used her hind leg to punch the wall. "What I'd like to know is why he's being a nasty, mean meanie pants." Pinky said, "He wasn't like this when we were little." "Maybe," said AJ, "but we don't know that. For all we know, he could be showing his true colours at last." "He must be pretty unhappy," said Fluttershy. "That may be true, but he's going about it all wrong," said Twilight. "He made a deal with Chrysalis that he can choose either of us even if we refuse. Secondly, he's only using us to get closer to the throne. And possibly for..." She couldn't say that last part and she grimaced. They didn't need to ask what she was getting at. The sisters also did a grimace that made them wish they had their courts right there for comfort. "Oh, jeez, where can you be?" Pinky whispered. As a matter of fact, he and the other guys were on a road leading out of Ponyville. Cheese opened his mouth and said, "Are we there yet?"
"No," Discord replied.
"Are we there yet?" he asked again.
"No,"
responded Fancy Pants. "Are we there yet?" "No," countered Spike. "Are we there yet?"
"No!"
they all ended up saying. "Sheesh, Cheese, any pony can see we're not there yet," retorted Soren. "Sorry, but it's just so boring. No talking, no travel games, no sing-alongs." Suddenly his face lit up. "Oh, but I can fix that." He took out a banjo and started playing. Flash gaped.
"Tell me he's not..."
"Sing a song, yes, a travel song." Spike heaved a sigh. "He is, when you gotta go somewhere, 'cause the fun is getting there. Yeah! Oh, what the hey, I must confess, I love a road trip! Sing a song, hit the trail. Forget the maps, forget the guides. Before you know it, you've made strides with me. And I know all I need all along is a path and a pal and a song. So I'm singing and I'm palling with you. See, makes the time go by faster." Fancy sang out,
"Why me? Why me?"
Cheese said while taking in the scenery, "This is nice."
"Tell me what was my crime?"
Soren sang, "We are strolling." Discord sang in a near whisper,
"As chatty as a parrot, more annoying than a mime."
"Hey, look, a cat who's wearing boots. You don't see that every day." Spike sang out, "Why me? Why me? A simple answer would be fine." Cheese jumped around them. "This is good cardio."
"Won't someone please send me a sign?"
sang Flash. "Hey, a sign! You need a Pal Avenue straight ahead."
Discord resumed singing, "What did I do to deserve this honestly? This pony here is impudent."
All of them, minus Cheese, sang,
"Why me?"
"Oh man, what could be better than this? Sing a song, hit the to get around. Before you know it, you've gained ground with me. And I know all I need all along is a path and a pal and a song. So I'm singing and I'm palling with you. He finished the chord and took a show bow. You done now? Discord asked impatiently. Yep, unless you want me to sing another song. Oh, I could. He took a gulp of air, but was suddenly tackled by Soren.
That won't be necessary. The Wonderbolt slowly got off him.
He pouted. Aw, you guys are no fun.
Oh, don't talk to me about fun. Discord went in his face. I invented fun. What you're doing is plain annoying. Easy, Flash said, being the voice of reason. We don't want to lose our heads. Remember why we're doing this. For the princesses. He's right, nodded Fancy. This whole trip is to find them and save them from a most awful curse. After seeing it on the king, I fear the worst for my poor Rarity.
Both Discord and Cheese had a look of sorrow, knowing that they were right.
I certainly can't let Fluttershy feel like she'd be a monster. I know how that feels, after all. I can't let that happen to her.
I know Pinkie would want me to keep smiles up since she's not here to do it. I swear on Camembert that I will keep smiling even if I'm not in a cheery mood, after all, and that I'm travelling with these grumpy gusses. Spike moved forward. Come on then, let's keep going. They just kept on moving. After some time later, they took a break near Froggy Bottom Bog for a picnic lunch. Spike was passing a garden salad and looked up to see Discord saying, Would you like some?
That is generous of you, Spike, but I'm good.
He snapped as a ball of parchment appeared in his hand, and he took a fork and began smacking. The steeds looked up in bewilderment, and Soren asked with a raised eyebrow,
Is that paper? What? Discord said with his mouth full. It's good.
He gulped it down. They could only shake their heads and continue to eat their packed lunches, though Fancy Pants had a tea set before him and magically poured another cup to sip at. When they were done eating, Discord yawned and stretched out.
I'm going to take a quick nap before we head out. I'm not used to all this walking around, after all.
He floated between two trees and stretched himself out like a hammock, using his arms to hold on to one tree, and holding the other tree's branch with his tail. He yawned again and fell asleep.
Well, I suppose some pony has to clean all this up,
Fancy pointed out, and began to magically throw away empty wrappers, pack up dishes in the basket, and fold the blanket.
Sure you don't want help? Flash questioned. I've got this.
He kept using his magic to concentrate on the mess.
Okay, the rest of us will go and get some supplies. Why? Soren motioned. We all know Discord could do that. Yes, but remember what he said about teleporting? It takes a lot of his magical energy. And frankly, I'd rather he was rested up for when we get there, to do it on what we'll have to face. Even Queen Celestia and King Sombra couldn't stop this curse from happening, or get rid of it. We're going to need every bit of Discord's magic to get through this. So, in the meantime, it'll be best if we fend for ourselves, so we can use his magic when the time comes.
I guess you're right, said Spike.
This way.
Flash took a sector of the woods, with Spike, Soren and Cheese following close behind. The bog bubbled in its brown, sticky substance. Cheese was hopping from stone to stone while the bubbles popped. He found himself wishing that Pinkie was there with him, so they could have fun together with the bubbles. Soren was flying from tree to tree before declaring, I'm not seeing anything we can use for eats or anything useful that might help us. Flash bit his lip in thought.
Spike? Find anything?
Nothing so far, the dragon pointed out.
Looks like this was a waste of time.
Soren came down, unaware that something was moving in the bog. I say we head back and keep going until nightfall. I vote for that. Spike nodded. Me too, agreed Cheese.
All right. It was at least worth a try.
Flash said, as a stench filled the air.
That way. He started coughing. We're looking. He started coughing more. What is that smell?
But he saw the three of them gripping in fear.
What? What is it?
Look behind you! Spike was quivering. Flash did a quick turn around and saw above him a 4-headed 50-foot Hydra. He slowly backed away while asking,
Cheese, what would you call that thing?
2 words. Abscree! He screamed and made a run for it, with the others yelling and running right behind him. Soren realised something and screeched to a halt.
Wait, why am I running? I've got wings!
He flapped up and zipped through the air. Flash noticed and thought,
oh, what the hey?
He opened his own wings and began to fly. Cheese and Spike were still running until the brown sticky stuff caught a hold of them and they got stuck. The Hydra was coming closer to them, and the guys shouted out, "Help!" The Pegasi heard them and grabbed them up just in time as one of the Hydra's heads tried to eat them. Soren had grabbed Cheese Sandwich by the forearms and Flash had Spike on his back. The Hydra reached its necks out to get them in their mouths. "Incoming!" Cheese pointed to an open mouth and Soren dodged it.
Nice save!
The Wonderbolt praised the party pony. "No problem," grinned Cheese.
There's gotta be some way we can stop this thing. Flash yelled out, Spike, see if you can find something that can help us.
"On it!" Spike saluted, and using his claws like binoculars and scouted the terrain from above. By then he saw tree branches full of vines. "There! Those vines!"
Good work!
He turned to the light blue Pegasus in the air.
Soren, we need to fly down there and grab those vines. Then we can wrap it around the creature.
"We got it!" Soren swooped down with Cheese for him to grab one half of the vines, as Flash did the same with Spike, grabbing the other half. With the vines in hoof, the Pegasi, with their flying partners, wrapped the vines from top to bottom of the Hydra. The Hydra started to lose its balance and began falling. There was a huge thump from where the Hydra landed, and from that thump, Fancy Pants felt it, and so did Discord as he got knocked from his comfort spot.
What the?
He looked over to Fancy, who could only shrug at him. Then they heard cheering in the distance, and it became louder as 2 Pegasi landed down with a dragon and an earth pony.
Did you see the way it just boom? Soren laughed.
And that it waggled after it couldn't get up, chuckled Cheese. "I still can't believe we did that." Spike jumped off Flash. "The way we wrapped those vines around him, it was just wow."
Believe it. We beat a giant monster from eating us.
Discord cleared his throat to get their attention.
And pray tell, what was this monster that tried to eat you?
After a bit of heroic storytelling, Discord concluded,
"Well, from the sound of it, you boys just encountered a Hydra." "Hydra?"
all 4 stated.
"But those things aren't meant to exist," pointed out Flash. "Oh, they are very real. And I'm sure your mayor friend has read several books on the subject. But you did all right on your own." "Well, I couldn't have done it without Spike."
"Ah, gee. I just did what you told me to do. And besides, you saved my life. So things might have worked out differently if you didn't. By the way," Cheese faced Soren, "thanks for saving my life."
"Hey, it's no biggie. That's what Wonderbolts and..."
He rubbed his neck.
"Friends do."
Cheese's grin widened and asked, "We're friends?"
"Sure, I mean, our girls are sisters after all. So, if anything's gonna happen, we might as well be."
"Oh my gosh! That didn't even occur to me! We're going to be related if we marry the princesses!" His grin spread further at the thought.
"Whoa there!"
Flash came up to him.
"Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I've only known Twilight for a couple of weeks. Just because I have strong feelings for her doesn't mean she feels the same way about me. I beg to differ."
Discord put his hands on the stallion's shoulders.
"But I've seen the way she looks at you. She likes you."
He blushed.
You really think so?"
The other guys nodded their heads. With a determined look across his face, Flash trotted ahead.
"We better go, or else we'll never get there,"
Fancy whispered.
"Or, most likely, he wants to get there to see if it was true." "Nevertheless," Discord gestured, "we need to go, now."
They travelled for the rest of the afternoon. From a distance they saw the Queen's sun lowering. The guys were slowly losing their energy. Spike's eyes were drooping, and Soren was lowering to the ground as his wings were not able to carry him much longer. Fancy and Cheese's hooves were hurting, and Discord and Flash, while still having a look of earnest, were getting bags under their eyes. Spike couldn't keep up much longer and eventually fell from exhaustion. Cheese looked back to see Spike's condition. Uh-oh, dragon down. He picked him up and put him on his back.
Maybe.
Soren yawned. We should stop here for tonight.
We gotta be close by now, aren't we? I'm going to have to agree with you. We must be almost there, said Fancy. Yeah, but almost is not enough,
Discord grumbled.
Come on, Discord. You know we can't keep this up, Flash said. We need to rest. Even you.
Discord looked down at his tired company. He couldn't deny it. Flash spoke the truth. And even he needed his beauty sleep to keep up his magical energy.
He thought, just hang in there, Fluttershy. I promise. I'll be there as soon as I can. One more day. That's all it's going to take. And you'll be back in my arms before you know it.
He turned back to them.
All right, we'll stop. But I want to be back on the road first thing in the morning. We'll just eat breakfast on the go.
Deal, the colts said while Spike snored away. They had finished up setting up camp right as Luna was raising the moon in the night sky. Spike had woken up just in time for Discord to be cooking dinner on a campfire. After a delicious meal, Cheese took out a flashlight and put the light over his face, looking creepy. You know what this needs, he said in an eerie voice.
No, Cheese,
Discord said in an exasperated voice, knowing exactly what he was getting at.
What does this dull campsite need?
Doing a whooshing sound, he jumped on the log.
Ghost stories!
Spike yelped, ducking for cover. There won't be any zombies in it, will there? Nuh-uh, you're thinking zombie stories. These are true to form, honest to truth, full ghost stories. So help me, Celestia. Ooh, Soren motioned. Tell the one about the olden pony. That one's my favourite. Then he used a hag's voice.
Who's got my rusty horseshoe?
He made a poor, evil laugh.
Wonderful. Discord started crawling into his tent. You guys go do that and have your little fun. But I'm going to get some shut-eye, so keep it down or else.
Ah, come on, Discord, Cheese complained. Join us! No, he stretched it out. Thank you. Ah, it's one of those onion things, isn't it? The rest of the guys looked at him as if he was crazy. They had no idea what he just said.
What? No, it's one of those drop it and leave it alone things.
I know, let's play a game instead. If you wanted to be anything else, what would you pick?
What kind of stupid game is that? Discord asked in irritation.
I'll go first and give an example. He cleared his throat. I would be a superstar like Colt Eastwood. He put on sunglasses for emphasis. Discord smacked the pony's face and pulled the glasses away from him.
That's nice. Now let's move on to other things, like getting some sleep. What's your deal, dude?
Soren signified. Yeah, you're not being your usual cheery, bothersome self, Spike pointed out. What gives?
Nothing, so let's just leave it at that. I think he's hiding something, Fancy motioned.
That tore it for Discord, and he shouted out,
Hiding? Hiding? Hiding something? Oh, that's an understatement. Of course, Discord, the spirit of harmony and deception, would be hiding something. That's what he is. That's all he'll ever be.
His face was red as he was panting from his rant. The others looked on in shock and surprise. He turned away from them.
But why am I telling you this? You wouldn't understand. No pony ever does. Except for her.
His eyes were big and welling up with tears. They didn't need to ask who her was. Spike went up to him and touched his claw. That's where you're wrong. I should know. Discord did a small scoff, saying under his breath,
Sure you do.
But I do. I'm an orphan. I never knew who my real parents were. I was raised by ponies with no one else of my kind to play with. I was different from them. When I learnt about the species I was, I found out I was a midget compared to my dragon brethren. A noble race. And I was nothing like those giants. Sure, I had the girls to keep me company, but still. I wish I could be more than what I was. An outsider.
Fancy spoke up. I grew up in the lower parts of Canterlot, and my family was always looked down upon by snobs who thought they were better than us. Just because we didn't have power like them didn't mean they were superior to us. I set out to prove them wrong and earned my spot in the royal castle. But even there, I was still looked down upon.
Soren took his turn. I was teased in school whenever I pretended to be something I wasn't. I knew when I wanted to be a Wonderbolt for real and set out to work as a water boy. Sure, it stank, but at least I got my chance and became what I wanted to be. But remembering the low part of my life, I had to make sure I stay on top to never go back. Cheese lowered his head, and as a young colt, I was always shy. Never got around much, and fitting in, not like today. But when I came to Canterlot one fateful day, I saw Pinky hosting a party. That day, I knew who I was and what I wanted to do. I hoped to impress her, which eventually I did. But when that proclamation came out, I knew I wouldn't be able to be more than a joke to a princess like her. Flash sighed.
I had to work all my life. My mother and father were barely making ends meet as it was. I wanted to get out of that and showed I could do more. I enrolled in the Royal Guard Academy and set to training. When I met Twilight, I felt like my dreams were coming true, only for it to be taken away when I found out she was the princess, knowing I didn't stand a chance with her.
He took a deep breath and proclaimed,
"But she proved me wrong. She saw me as more than a god. Just like Pinky saw more than a joke, Cheese. Or how Rainbow saw more than a Wonderbolt, Soren. And I don't think Rarity ever saw you as a butler, Fancy. Applejack would never see you as an outsider, Spike. But as a companion and a loyal friend. As for you, Discord, Fluttershy really knew what she was doing when she set you free from Stone. She must have somehow known that by setting you free, she would gain a future with you."
There was a calm among them, until Discord did a soft chuckle.
"You, Sir Sentry, are wise beyond your years. What you say makes sense. So, I guess now, you'll want my backstory, since you all told me yours."
"You don't have to," said Spike.
"Ah, but I better, or else we wouldn't," he made air quotes, "properly bond. And the funny thing is, it's similar to all of your stories. I knew my parents, but only for a short time, as a huge blizzard came and I lost them. I travelled to the ends of Equestria and found out I wasn't like any of the other creatures that lived there, and was treated differently. That's all they ever saw in me. A threat, a monster, a fiend. Since no pony appreciated my gifts for chaos. So, if ponies were going to think I was a villain, I might as well be one. Sombra and Celestia were married by the time I was causing trouble, and knew a spell to imprison me. Without a second thought, I was nothing more than a statue being put on display."
He did a small laugh.
"So, which of us has the more tragic story?"
"I say it's a 6-way tie,"
gestured Cheese. "For once, you're making sense. Smart, Soren." Flash said, "You can go to sleep now. We won't disturb you." "Are you kidding? You can't go to sleep without s'mores in your belly."
He popped a bag of marshmallows, chocolate bars, and crackers. "Now you're talking!" Cheese jumped, grabbing a lot of the s'more ingredients and took out a stick for the marshmallows, putting it over the fire. Spike put his marshmallow on a stick and blew fire to make the mallow all mushy. After a while of eating the treats, he took out the picture he brought with them and said to them, "Think they're okay?" They looked over to see the picture.
"I am sure they are," said Fancy. "Rarity is tougher than she lets on."
"So is Pinky," motioned Cheese. "Hey, Rainbow doesn't let anything get to her. Not even being kidnapped by some creepy crawlies."
"Twilight is smart and brave. She's fine, I'm sure of it. Fluttershy may look scared, but deep down, she's the bravest pony in Equestria."
"And Applejack won't be pushed around by some evil queen. She always puts her family's safety before her own." He braced the picture frame.
Flash yawned. "Maybe we better get to sleep now, so we can get there at last to see them." "My thoughts exactly."
Fancy moved to his tent. The others had gone into their tents, saying their good nights, but Cheese stood by the dying fire.
"Pinky, please be okay."
He looked up to the night sky and found a bright star. In the dark dungeon, Pinky stood close to a wall that had a small barred window above her and the girls. She could see her Aunt Luna's clear night sky and saw a star shining brighter than the others. She began singing, "Somewhere out there, beneath the pale moonlight, someone's thinking of me and loving me tonight." Cheese sang out, "Somewhere out there, someone's saying a prayer that we'll find one another in that big somewhere out there." In their tents, the guys couldn't sleep and felt restless as they thought of their girls. Fancy sang, "And even though I know how very far apart we are, it helps to think we might be wishing on the same bright star." At the same time, the girls were thinking about them as well. Rarity vocalized, "And when the night wind starts to sing a lonesome lullaby, it helps to think we're sleeping under the same big sky." All of them sang out, "Somewhere out there." Fluttershy sang, "If love can see us through." Discord sang, "Love can see us through." Rainbow took to singing, "Then we'll be together." Siren sang, "Together." Both Pegasi sang, "Somewhere out there, out where dreams come true." Flash walked out of his tent and found a lake. Seeing the moon's reflection on it, "And even though I know how very far apart we are, it helps to think we might be wishing on the same bright star." Twilight looked up to the dungeon window. "And when the night wind starts to sing a lonesome lullaby, it helps to think we're sleeping underneath the same big sky." They all sang again, "Somewhere out there." Applejack sang, "If love can see us through." Spike sang, "Love can see us through." All of them finished, "Then we'll be together somewhere